Welcome. Today we have for you an excerpt from the Ancestral Essence Membership Zone class entitled Mental Health and the Rogue Personalities Responsible. Enjoy.
This is the same thing that you say, I want promotion. This is the same thing. You're in a relationship and you want the person to stay. Every minute of every day, you're putting some sort of plan in action. Now, this is something which can be a bit topsy-turvy because if the person behaves in a different way, you have to adapt, and you might not have the capacity to adapt because you're used to doing a certain thing in a certain way. And if it varies from that, you have a choice to walk away or to complain that the person isn't doing it the way that you would like to do it. So there's an issue here. You can fix it yourself or fix the person who you want to do it for you. The plan can only be as deep as our personal experience, and mainly our less effective and traumatic personalities when we were children. These personalities and storylines have been kept alive as our memories, and the desired outcomes are part of the drivers for our aspirations in adult life. So you find the situations that the plans that you've made, I think I said it before, the plans that you've made as children to get through traumatic times, then create personalities that essentially are now trying to look after that child's memory. That child has a memory inside you. That child is still screaming. That child still wants to be recognized. That child wants revenge. And you have to create a personality that manages that child memory inside you so that it doesn't become a monster and starts acting out, hurting people because it's been hurt. It has to be dealt with. It has to be spoken to. It has to be nurtured. It has to be brought back to life. It has to realize that it doesn't need to harm you to make a point. But sadly, these things are hidden. And they're hidden in different characters, personalities, angers that we don't even recognize that the person has. But if you push a bit too hard, you might see all of this stuff come out. And you're like, whoa, where did that come from? Who are you? Do I even know you? It was there. It's just that they managed to gain some mastery over it until something came and forced them to bring that out. And then everyone, when they bring that personality out, is challenging what? Their mental health. It's not their mental health. It's just something that wasn't dealt with. A wound, a broken thought, a broken feeling, a broken memory that hasn't been able to wound. It's been a wound that hasn't been able to heal. All right, these personalities have been designed by us to point, unfortunately, to a point. They've been designed for us to a point. Unfortunately, they have been created while under the influence of emotion, fear, anxiety, even joy. We may not have been in full control of these emotions. Yeah, because emotions are possessions. Yeah. So at that time, when you're feeling those certain ways and you're creating these personalities, you're at the influence of your environment. If it's a case where a certain situation takes place, which is fearful, so you can create an anxiety whenever that situation is going to come by. A personality that feels anxious now is taking over your behavior. And now, whenever that scenario comes up, you're lost. Your brain's gone. Yeah, you're no longer able to participate in what's taking place because that personality that now comes forward to represent you is not in the strength or the capacity to do that. That's why we refer to emotions as possessions, because when they do take over you, you just lose your cool, you lose your balance, you lose your control. Even joy is a possession because when you're overjoyed, you're crying. Now, you wouldn't want to cry at something that you really enjoy, but you're overtaken, you're overwhelmed. It seems like the best way to release energy, to release how euphoric you feel. But when you're in that situation, you don't control your body functions. You don't know what it's going to do at that level. You could jump up. You could do this. You could do that. Isn't it on sporting occasions when people are watching sports and their team is doing well? A person who can't jump will try his best to fly up in the sky because essentially he's overjoyed. He will betray or just forget that he's not able to do that. And they always say, be careful, because you could end up hurting yourself just because you become so excited that you lose control. You forget who you are, and then you just end up jumping. So situations where personalities are designed within an emotion, just got to be a little bit wary of, because you created it when you didn't have full control over yourself. There are 4 main levels. There's many levels, but I'm just picking 4 of personalities that dwell within us. Yeah, the primary ones are the ones we control, the ones we create to help us to get through everyday situations. The ones that you can bring up and shut down at need, at will. So it could be a case where you're walking in a corridor and you're seeing somebody who you might not like that much. But essentially, as you walk past them, you can bring up a smile and say, hey, how you doing? How's the kids? How's the family? Whatever you say, you can bring up a personality that only has to last for the length of that walk in the corridor. You can have a personality at work that only has to last for 8 hours or 6 hours or 4 hours of the day. As soon as you walk out or get out of that building or drive out of that premises or what have you, you then become you. Yeah, all of a sudden everything sort of changes, and then you become the person who you know yourself to be. But for those hours of that day, that period, you could be someone else. You can be acting as some personality that you created. Now, these energies, these personalities can be a bit tiring whilst you have to be someone else. But as soon as you can be yourself for a period, your energy revives back. These are the primary ones. These are the ones that we want to be in control of more often than not.
If you would like to see the whole 2 hours video and become part of the Ancestral Essence Membership Zone Village, visit ancestralessence.com for details on how to register. Thank you for watching. See you soon.